Andrew Pollard, 35 years old, and from Sonoy, Georgia. I guess when I was younger, my sister didn't say Andrew, I guess. And her name's Andrea, so we're pretty close. So, yeah, just kind of stuck with her, and nobody knows who Andrew is most of the time. So, yeah, it's funny to get called Andrew and nobody knows who you are.
You got to start getting up earlier now? Take time to put makeup on before you leave the house?
Hair and makeup.
We've just made that instance there.
So on this one, is the red one the left or the right? How you get
left and right. You're looking from the back of the
looking from the back,
yeah.
Okay. Oh man, this is going on, I think, 99, so we're looking at about 22, 23 years. So the first time I would say Legend Cars is really where I started, right there at our home track. I think I actually drove my first time around the Land Motor Speedway, the little quarter mile there. So Legend Cars were a big thing back then when I started racing, and I mean, I enjoy it. I still love watching them today, and it's a great stepping stone to moving up ladder.
It's better than nothing. Yeah, it really is.
The one I didn't like the ones that they eyeball mines in certain places. Yeah. There you go. I get myself way out there.
Over about right here. This is for the cup stuff, so you gotta go over real fast. Whoosh. That's good.
I watch social media a lot, and there's a lot of your fans that use the goat emoji. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't get much into it. The social media or what people say, or it's cool, you know. I mean, but I'm far from that. There's a lot of other great race car drivers out there. It's won a lot more races than I have, and it's way more talented behind the wheel than I'll ever be. So, yeah, it's cool to hear him say it, but you know, I'm just like everyone else, really.
And where do you see the Bubba Pollard empire in the next 10 years?
Oh man, it depends on which direction racing goes. I think I still want to be winning races. I'll be 45 years old. You know, got a family. My little girls are growing up, so they're going to be playing ball and doing all other things. And I don't know. We got the racetrack back, so I'm sure I'll still be doing the same thing, running around here and trying to win some races and kick these young boys' ass. I mean, if I can't, I just have to come get my stuff. And it's gonna be a couple of hours. It would be probably 3 o'clock before I can get there. racing. My kids are not racing. It is no way that they're going to drive a race car. They can do anything else they want, but driving a race car is not one of them. So we'll see how that goes the next couple of years.
NASCAR and racing that brought you out to North Carolina?
I was working on like an NHRA team there, and kind of got the bug to come out here. And one day I was interviewing with Chad Knaus.
How long have you been a professional fabricator for?
Oh, since what, 93?
And what are some of the biggest races you've won being on that team to make those cars?
Daytona, a few times. Phoenix was fun, Chicago was fun. Michigan was extra special. That was an all TIG welded car. This gets sandblasted before it gets powder coated, so that really comes off. That helps knock it off.
All the doors shut.
My family owned a machine and manufacturing facility where we built farm equipment. So I said, well, if I'm going to do this junk, screw it, I'm going to do it on race cars.
And did you work several different jobs until you kind of found what you were good at with welding, or were you good at everything?
I was pretty much good at everything, but welding, it's such an athletic ability kind of a thing. You just don't, you can't accidentally do it. You gotta have that almost just gymnastic dexterity. So I have a college degree in music, went on a scholarship. It wasn't a full ride. And when I got out, I realized I could make $10 teaching piano, so I had to, get a real job. But again, the guitar playing with the dexterity, the fingers and hand-eye coordination, it's such an athletic event. You can't just fake your way. You could do Mary Had a Little Lamb and fake your way through it, but fluently. I can play the piano and the guitar and the drums very fluently. I had a violin at one time.
And what type of music do you like to listen to, and is that also the same type of music you like to play?
Yeah, that would be like Ozzy and Metallica, because you can't fake your way through that stuff. That is some incredible stuff. Anytime they take classical music and make heavy metal out of it, it just tickles my pickle. Give it a foot more.
That'll do it.
Are we in?
That'll do it. We'll strap it down right there.
This might be an unfair question, but if you had a do-over in life, what would it be?
I guess I have a 21-year-old son out there. I'd have been more active in his life, but I didn't exactly have a whole lot of control.
Ryan Preece from Berlin, Connecticut. So I grew up in Connecticut, started in quarter midgets in Meriden. It was a little kid, quarter midget track 5 minutes from where I was. Raced that until about 10 years old, 11 years old, and ran go-karts for a year, 270 and 600 micros for 1 or 2 years. Ended up getting into modified when I was 14 or 15 years old, and kind of stayed in that path. I ran some open wheel midgets, winged midgets, out west and even up in the Northeast. So did a little bit of that, and then just kind of progressed. Won quite a few modified championships, whether it was in a local SK modified division in Stafford or Thompson, or won a lot of races in Long Island at Riverhead. Won the Wheel and Modified Tour Championship as a driver, and also contributed in as a car owner. So kind of done a lot of those things, and then that progressed into having that opportunity with Joe Gibbs Racing, where I was able to win at Iowa and Bristol. And that got me to the Cup Series and just all the different opportunities, and racing a truck, winning our first race out at Nashville. So it's all over the place. It's a lengthy story, but I think most people that know short track racing know about it by now. Well, I think that was being in the Northeast, more so in the Connecticut area. That's our thing. You know what I mean? It's just like when you come down, or you go down in the Charlotte, North Carolina, area, the Southeast area, it's late models. That's what I've learned as I've moved down here. So just growing up around it, it's really just been something that was easier for me to go race. There's racetracks 45 minutes, hour 15 minutes away. So I started by starting parking modified for an owner and a chassis builder up there. And one day they let me race, and then that started. They ended up putting me full time. We were winning races, and it's really interesting how my modified career ended up taking off. But it's extremely important to be around, to be seen, and whether it was starting parking race cars or just being there, because I was trying to make a living. I was 17, 18 years old. I worked at a go-kart track doing private lessons. I worked for my father in the summer at his HVAC business. But at the same time, every Thursday, every Friday, every Saturday, I was at the racetrack, whether it was starting parking, helping, whatever it took to race. Vacations, what are those? I think we had, from what I remember growing up, I had one family vacation when I was 11 or 12. My father and I traveled up and down the East Coast, out to Indianapolis, Ohio, whatever it took, and we just raced. We enjoyed it, and the thing that I love most about my childhood or being around the racetrack, and I appreciate it now as I've gotten older, is my father never let me sit down and just kind of watch, and just, he made me, pay attention to other things that others were doing. If I wasn't doing something or goofing off, he'd make me pick trash up. He'd make me work. And I feel like as I've gotten older, it's made me a better racer. It's made me want more and to not settle with just being okay. It's to constantly better myself as a driver, better myself as somebody who is a student of the game when it comes to setting race cars up, and continuing to do so. I do have somewhat of an ability. I still continue to learn. It was funny actually coming here to Port City. The whole story on how I ended up wanting to build my super late model came in December of 2020 when I watched the Snowball Derby, and it sucked to sit on the couch. I wanted to be there. I wanted to race it. But I wanted to own the car. I wanted to have say in what went into that car or any of those things. So I told Gary, I said, hey, I'd like to buy one of these cars, but I want to build it. I want to do it at my shop, which my shop's only about 10 minutes away from here. And I think, at first he was like, are you sure you want to do that? Just because I'm a race car driver. I'm, high strung and antsy. So, I think he just wanted to make sure that when we showed up, that these brand new cars, when they came to the Snowball Derby, we're going to be 100% ready to go, best of the best, whatever it took. And when I came here to go through the setup process with him, how he did it, so our cars, you know, were identical when we showed up, I think he was a little surprised that I was able to do it to the standard that him and Chris Gabehart, who was crew chiefing me there, you know, to make sure it was 100%, not 80%.
And last question. It's May. You drive for a former IndyCar champion. Have you ever had any hopes or dreams of driving an Indy 500?
I mean, that would be awesome. I got to accomplish the goal of winning in the Cup Series right now. To me, it feels like a constant battle to try and get those opportunities. And right now I have that. So we just need to, I'm going to focus on one goal at a time. And if I can, you know, hopefully get a full-time opportunity at a top-level Cup team and go out and win races like I know I can, then we'll kind of set our sights on the next goal. But I mean, I'm a student of, or I'm a fan of all motorsports. I enjoy watching wing sprint cars, wingless sprint cars, asphalt late models, modifieds, you know, you name it, whatever it is. I understand there's different driver etiquettes, different styles that it takes to go fast in each one, and that's what I feel helps myself become better as a race car driver.
I played soccer, basketball, and baseball.
And of those, what are your favorite?
My favorite? Probably basketball, but I liked them all.
And what position in basketball?
I was point guard in basketball. I was decent. I was average. In high school, I started 3 of the 4 years, so that's pretty decent.
Do you think your background in sports is paying off now in your professional life?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. Just the whole teamwork aspect of everything. You know, working with other people, all for a common goal. I mean, it's a big part of what we're doing here.
Do you also think it helps you handle stress?
Yeah, I guess I never really thought about it, but I guess you could say that. I mean, in sports, you get put in high pressure situations a lot, which it's not that high pressure, but you know, you don't want to make mistakes and cost the company money and, you know, things like that. So I guess it sort of correlates to both.
Do you ever think of the safety aspect of what you're doing, and if you have a bad day, you're putting someone at risk?
Oh yeah, for sure. Just not only the safety for myself here, you know, you got to always be wearing your safety glasses, be paying attention, you know. Welding, you can get burned pretty easy. I mean, you just got to be aware of your surroundings or something falling on you. Like, you know, we're picking up some heavy stuff here. You drop something on your foot or something, you're going to be down and out. But the other side of it is you got to make sure the joints fit. I mean, really perfect. It's like there is no that's close enough. You know what I mean? Like, you got to make sure everything fits right. The welds have got to be good, and if it's not, you got to redo it. Because, like you said, you're not just talking about, you know, your own safety. You're talking about, you know, people driving these cars and they're going fast. They can potentially get hurt. Like, it happens all the time. So, I mean, I think about it all the time when I'm welding. It's like you got to make sure that this is right, you know. So.
You drive yourself on occasion.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever think of something or a better way to do something while you're behind the wheel because you're actually experiencing it?
Occasionally, you know, I'll think of something like, you know, this design needs to be better. You know, just even little things like the left side vent bar on our Phase 2 stuff, and even on the Gen 19 stuff now has that bend in it, and it's so you can see visibility. It tucks that bar behind the A-post of the body. You know, just little things like that you think about. You know, it's like sitting in the seat when you're on the grid ready to roll out. It's like, I wish I had this, or I wish this was this way. You know, it's like just little things you think about, or even performance-wise, like I wish I had more adjustment in this, or I run out of adjustment here, you know. It's just little things like that.
Are your kids gravitating towards this at all? Do they seem to be mechanically inclined?
My kids are really young. My kids are 5 and 3, and they're starting to play team sports, but to be honest, they could not care less about race cars. Like, have zero interest in race cars. You know, they know that that's what I do, and I got a car in the garage at home, and they're like, yeah, that's Dad's race car, but they do not care about working on it, about having anything to do with it. But the team sports, they seem to like that a lot. I got them playing soccer, basketball, and baseball, and they like doing that stuff. So it's fun to live vicariously through them when they're doing that. So.